All right, good evening. This is the August 6, 2025 Cottage Grove City Council meeting, which I am calling to order. Before we move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, I just want to mention that this meeting is being recorded by True Lens Community Media, and you can view city meetings live and replay them on channel 799. Meetings are also streamed live and archived on the City of Cottage Grove's YouTube channel. So with that, Council, I'll move to number 2, which is rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, will the clerk please do the roll?
Councilmember Clausen.
Here.
Councilmember Olson.
Here.
Councilmember Thiede.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Mayor Bailey.
Here. Next this evening is open forum. This is the opportunity for anybody that wants to speak on anything that is not on tonight's agenda is welcome to do so. We did have a sign-up sheet out in the entryway, and we did have 4 individuals that did sign up. And so what I'll do is I'll just start with that list first, and then I'll just call your name, and if you just come up and state your name and address for the record. I would just ask, I think Tammy already mentioned it, just please limit your comments to 3 minutes, and then I'll happen to see at the end if there's anybody else that wants to speak. So I will start with Cindy. Is it Gish? Yep, Cindy.
Hello. Nice to see some of your faces. I think I've actually voted for some of you, and I really don't know who you are. That's okay. I'm here tonight to talk to you about Cottage Grove's Hero Center and ICE enforcement. And while you're going to hear probably a lot of comments from a lot of different people, I'm here to present to you a little different perspective. In 1945, this is my parents, my dad, my grandparents, and my aunts and uncles in a family prison camp in Germany. They were Latvian citizens taken during World War II and placed in this camp. This is the picture 3 years later in the United States of America in a displaced persons camp in Hebron, Nebraska, where good, decent Americans offered them a place to be, to work, to eat, and to raise their family, one of which later came to be me. I don't know, in all of the political rhetoric, if anyone ever stops to think that as first-generation Americans or 15th-generation Americans, this is very real. If we behaved in the United States of America then, like we are today, my family would not be here. As a matter of fact, if my grandparents were still alive today, they would probably be in a place like Alligator Alcatraz because they died with only their green cards. They could afford to have all of their children get their citizenship, and they worked diligently at that. But they did not have the funding or the opportunity because they needed to work all of the time to get it themselves. But yet my grandparents worked and paid into the taxes and Social Security that they never collected. They raised good, decent citizens. They volunteered at food shelves. They oftentimes gave up their own food in order to help other people that were coming to this country that didn't have any. In my family, we're big Nebraska Cornhusker fans, and we watched a lot of football. And there was never a single time that if the national anthem came on that we were not expected to stand on our feet, put our hands over our hearts, and pledge loyalty to this nation. Those are the people that are being swept up and taken away. And while I understand that there's been some kind of a contract and all kinds of other political things that have happened, and as a 30-year resident of this city, I wish I would have known. You would have heard from me sooner, maybe in a different perspective. But I don't want us, Cottage Grove, Minnesota, to be that. We're better than that. We don't need to encourage ICE and have them here doing harm to people, scaring my students. I'm a teacher in this district. Giving me a script to say that if ICE shows up at my school building, what to say. What we need is to say, how do we embrace American ideals and make you welcome here? How do we fix it? It isn't with guns. So please reconsider.
Thank you. All right. Next is Peggy Nelson.
Hi, I'm Peggy Nelson. I live in Cottage Grove, and I've spoken before you people before. We sent a letter to all of you on the city council with resolutions that we wanted all of you to put on the agenda and vote on it. That didn't happen. The mayor sent us at All Saints Lutheran Church a email, and in it I'll read. Thank you for providing a template of a possible resolution towards the current administration and its handling of immigrants and ICE. I have kept a pretty straightforward thought process on resolutions like the one you proposed. I have continued not to support or approve resolutions that are critical of groups of people, individuals, or political parties. Though I may agree with your stance and concerns with what is currently happening, we've had other groups approached us for resolution requests to identify groups of people, Israel, Palestinian, Muslims, etc. You get the picture. I applaud your passion to make a difference in this stance. However, I will not support the resolution for the city of Cottage Grove. This was also copied to Jennifer Levitt, the city administrator. Ms. Levitt, I would like to make an appointment to see you and discuss this. The other part is, Mr. Mayor, this is written in I statements, not we statements. We statements are part of the Constitution. We the people, for the people. And I find that very misleading and rather sabotaging because you're the only voice on here. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you that are voting members. And I would really like to remind you that the meaning of sabotage is deliberately destroy, damage, obstruct something, especially for a political or military advantage. I would like you to reconsider and allow us to be on the agenda and have you vote for this in public, in this chamber, on that camera.
Okay. Next on the list here was Kathy Kuchar, I believe? Yep. Kuchar?
Hi, I'm Kathy Kuchar. I've been a resident of Cottage Grove for almost 40 years, and I'm a part of an indivisible group in St. Croix Valley, and I joined an immigration group with the indivisible. I'm concerned about ICE in Cottage Grove. Immigrants are a big part of our community, and I want people to feel safe here. We are asking the council to consider the resolution brought forth by Peggy Nelson. Is it Nelson? Yeah. Perhaps changing the contract for ICE. I am asking for ICE to have proper identification and to be unmasked. It is a scary scenario for ICE to be in our community, especially in mass deportations we are seeing across the country. I do not want hate and fear spread into our community. With 170 billion going into immigration enforcement, ICE is becoming cruel and inhumane, tearing families apart, then without even due process of law or basic human dignity. Again, I'm asking, please, the council to reconsider the resolution brought forth by Peggy Nelson. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Ruth Jones?
Hello, my name is Ruth Jones. I live at 8180 Gennaro Ave South here in Cottage Grove. I am here to talk about that resolution as well. And I would like to notify everybody that it's been adopted by Minneapolis. Same thing. It's been adopted in Columbia Heights. St. Paul City Council is looking at it right now as we speak. Fully expect that they also will adopt it. So the adoption of this wouldn't set us out from other other Minnesotans. This is Minnesota. We are seen as a safe haven, and I want us to stay that way. And I particularly would like that Cottage Grove would stay that way. So that's why I'm here. Also, I really, really value free speech, and the ability to speak to you all means very much to me. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. All right, that was everybody that had signed up, but by chance, did anybody happen to come in that wants to speak on anything that's not on tonight's agenda? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, up on the podium and just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Diane Anderson, and I did not prepare a thing for tonight. I just found out there was a city council meeting tonight.
Can you, I do need you to state your address for the record, please?
Oh,
Because we need to know who to respond to.
Yeah, okay. 9424 Jurgen Place South,
Okay.
here in Cottage Grove. I've been a resident for 27 and a half years. I have a situation where my neighbor has a bunch of dead trees. And when those trees come down, which they will, they're going to damage my property. And if I happen to be under in that spot mowing my grass or outside playing with, entertaining family, whatever, that it would kill me, maim me, anybody who's there. So I called Samantha Drury about this issue twice, and there is no code enforcement to take down dead trees. Every time a storm comes through, more trees fall down because there's no maintenance in this yard. So my ask today is I'm imploring the city to please consider making a code enforcement for people to take down dead trees. I received the city letter saying we want a safe environment. We all want people to be safe and happy and enjoy their properties. I can't. I've had a fear. Every time I go outside, I've asked him to take the trees down. He won't. So I have no repercussions to make him take the trees down. So, do you have any questions? I'm guessing not, but.
No, I think since you gave us your information and your address, and you've spoken with Samantha, we can obviously do a follow-up on that.
Okay, and I invite any and all of you to come to my yard to,
right.
so you can observe for yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, was there anybody else that wanted to speak on anything not on tonight's agenda? All right, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close open forum, and council will move to number 5, which is adoption of the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilmember Garza, second by?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Clausen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Number 6 is presentations. We have none this evening. 7 is consent agenda. Council, is there anything you want to pull for separate discussion on consent?
I'll pull aye.
Councilmember Thiede is going to pull aye. Anything else? All right, so we'll just go with aye, which is the Real Estate Equities LLC issuance of Conduit multifamily housing revenue bonds. Councilmember Thiede.
Yeah, I just thought that it might be good to have our finance director explain this a little bit. It can be a little bit complex, and I know that Dave and Monique are new, and I remember when we kind of did something similar for the Legends quite a few years ago. It took a little while to digest it, so maybe we can kind of just explain it a little bit.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Thiede, members of the council. I'm happy to walk through the conduit debt item that's on your agenda this evening, and there's two parts to it tonight, so it is even a little bit more unusual than what we talk about. And so first is the preliminary approval for the issuance of conduit debt for multi-housing revenue bonds. And so those are in relation to real estate equities. As you know, they came in to City Council in 2024, went out for a bonding allocation through the state or the CDA. It's usually a 2-year process, and so they didn't receive the funds in '24, but they are receiving them in '25. So they do have their financing, and so they will do it through us through conduit debt. In 2024, we gave them preliminary issuance of that conduit debt in the amount of $32,000. They're requesting an increase of that to, or 32,000, that would be great, right? 32 million. And so that request is up to 50 million. And so what does conduit debt mean? And so that is what I wanted to kind of talk about first is, we are asked to do that periodically, and we last did it for the Legends of Cottage Grove. And so it is issued by the city to act as a conduit between the borrower and the lender. And so the borrower in this case is Real Estate Equities, and then the lender. And so we act as that conduit. Now, it's important to remember that that $50 million in issuance, it's not going to go against our credit rating. We are simply acting as that conduit. It doesn't count against our statutory maximum that we can issue for debt. And then also, it's not included in our outstanding debt on our financial statements. So all those things are true. So we're just acting as that conduit between the issuer and the borrower. You had issued that conduit debt, that preliminary amount for real estate equities back in 2024 in the amount of 32 million. So what is in front of you this evening is to increase that allocation to 50 million. And the reason for that request is there is a portion that is going to be recycled through the Washington County CDA of about $8 million. That was part of the Trellis Blue Stem project. And so in the IRS regulations, they're able to do that, so they made that request. And so I had asked the bond attorney that we work with, why not just have the CDA do their portion, we do our portion. It is to our advantage to have them have that one issue so that that underwriter has one mortgage per se, so that one debt issuance. So that's why it's coming in front of you tonight, is that increase because of the amount that's going to be recycled through the Washington County CDA. And then also just increasing that 50 million. So the recycling and then the increase in the issuance amount. So it's a lot to digest, but the good thing is going to come in front of you 2 more times. Next council meeting, there will be a public hearing. So tonight you're just saying, you're giving preliminary approval that, okay, we're okay with going up to the $50 million. So next week we'll have to, or next week, 2 weeks, we'll have to hold a public hearing to make sure that we're all okay with this. And then when the actual issuance of the debt is done sometime before the end of the year, it will come in front of you again.
And so,
Councilmember Thiede.
so the reason that real estate equities would want to do this is because,
Great question. Lower borrowing costs for them, lower interest rates, and so they can issue that tax exempt debt. So because it is a public project, they're doing the multifamily housing here in Cottage Grove. It's serving that public purpose. Not everybody can do it. There has to be that public purpose component. And so real estate equities, they're building that workhouse housing in our community, so that public purpose identified in our housing study that was done this year. So, yes.
right, and the one comment I'll make too is, one thing that's very important to me is that it's not costing the city anything. In fact, we're actually even getting a little bit of an administrative fee to do that, right?
Correct. We get an administrative fee for issuing that debt on their behalf. So doing that, being that conduit on that debt. So no city costs involved.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you. All right, since nobody on the council had pulled anything else for discussion on.
Move consent.
Thank you. I have a second, motion by Councilmember Olson, second by Councilmember Thiede. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So if you are here for anything on consent, they've all been approved. There you go. Good luck. You got it. All right, next on our agenda, I believe, is 8, which is
Move the bills.
pay the bills. We have a motion by Councilmember Olson, second by Councilmember Garza. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing, number 9, we have none. Bid awards, 10, we do not have any. We don't have anything on our regular agenda for number 11. So we literally are down to council comments and requests. We'll start with Councilmember Clausen.
I have nothing to add tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. I'll then go to Councilmember Olson.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things here. First of all, I want to thank all of the residents who hosted Night to Unite parties, either during the afternoon, noon out, at some of the retirement communities in town yesterday. And then, of course, Night to Unite last night. It's always one of my favorite things of the year. We got lucky last night. The weather was great. We've all been out there when it's been, 15,000 degrees outside, and it makes for a long night. But last night was beautiful, and it was really fun to get out and visit with the neighbors. Thank you to everyone also who took the time in the course of their party to help gather school supplies and things for the kids going back to school on the part of either basic needs or our Friends in Need food shelf because they look forward to those donations every year, and there were a lot of awfully generous people. The second thing I wanted to just mention, Mayor, is last Friday, as you're well aware because you were there, we had our inaugural Hometown Heroes golf tournament at River Oaks that was sponsored by the Mississippi River Valley Beyond the Yellow Ribbon team, along with the VFW and the Cottage Grove Lions. It was a resounding success. We had terrific weather, great turnout, a lot of really awesome sponsors who came forward and helped support the event. River Oaks, as always, did a bang-up job of organizing, coordinating, and it really went off very, very well. And we were grateful to raise nearly $20,000 to help our veterans, military families, and first responders in this community with this inaugural tournament. So we look forward to even bigger and better next year. But boy, for year one, it was sure a lot of fun. And we had a lot of great volunteers, including some of the Woodbury Lions came down and helped out as well. So everybody who pitched in deserves a pat on the back for that, especially the sponsors and the players. And then I wanted to also remind folks that another fundraiser that our Mississippi River Valley Beyond the Yellow Ribbon team is putting forth is the initial, it's called Walk, Run, Ruck, that will take place on September 13th prior to our food truck festival at Kingston Park. This event starts at 8 a.m. You can do a 5K, a 10K, and I think, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but a 15K as well. And some folks will be walking, some will be running, and some will actually be carrying their rucksacks with them. It's another great fundraiser. We've already got 50 people signed up, and these things tend to kind of get momentum as they get closer in time. So we're thinking we're gonna have a really nice turnout for that. It does start at 8 a.m. at Kingston Park, and if you're interested in signing up, the web address is www.runsignup.com. Or if you're a social media person, you can go to our Mississippi River Valley Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Facebook page for all the information on signing up for the event or becoming a sponsor. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, everybody's going to stay afterwards for the food truck festival because they'll be hungry after doing all that running and rucking and walking and whatnot. So it should be a fun day for everybody. And with that, Mayor, I'll turn it back to you.
Awesome, thank you,
Thank you.
Councilmember Wilson. Councilmember Thiede.
Yeah, I would also like to thank all the residents that had parties and such, and you know, it's really neat when you see neighbors and everybody like that get out and get to know the neighbors, in so many places it's just really helps with, being able to, from a safety standpoint and everything else, from, recognizing when things are a little odd or something in the neighborhood and things like that, that you know your neighbors and you can reach out and you work together and it just forms a much stronger community. So I thank everybody that helps put that together, and I think it's a great event. So I guess that's pretty much all I got, I guess.
All right, sounds good.
Unless you want me to mention movies for Mo, are you gonna do
Of
that?
course I do, Dave, of course I do.
Go ahead, Dave.
So Movies with Mo, the next one is August 15th at 7 PM at Highland Park, and it's Moana 2.
Should be good.
Is that Moana also, or is that, no, it's the second one, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Councilmember Thede. Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, Mayor. So yes, too, I would like to say thank you to all of the residents. I was able to make it out for the noon outs, and those were amazing. I had so many great conversations with our community. I got a lot of Cottage Grove stories, a lot of good history, a lot of things that were here, and just the memories. So it was fun going down memory lane with a lot of our residents. So I thank you for sharing with me. And I think we have the Cottage Grove Farmers Market that's happening on Thursdays. I know I've hit that a few times this season, so go and check them out. They have a lot of good stuff there. I know their flavored bacon is the best. I've bought that every Thursday. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Well, and again, I guess I'll just keep piggybacking a little bit on the noon outs and the night nights. Matter of fact, what I find out every year is every time I go to one of the noon outs, there's somebody in there, either an old school teacher of mine or somebody that says, I know things about you.
I heard
So
stories.
yeah, there was
Every
stories.
time.
I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to hear these stories, but yeah, it's pretty awesome though to see some of the old elementary school teachers or middle school such, and so it was pretty neat. And then of course having almost 50, I believe it was around 50 parties last evening was really cool. And a lot of people also, I just want to say, I know at one point we used to do the night to night in like Kingston Park or whatever. And as I kind of just chatted with different neighborhoods as we were going around last night, the theme was they loved the fact that it's back in the neighborhoods. Because they truly get to see their people that maybe they don't see that often. It's a lot different these days, than it has been in the past. But it's really kind of cool to see that and get to witness some of the great camaraderie between the neighbors and such with that. And then I also want to just point out that we do have a special guest in the room with us this evening, our new Met Council member that represents our area here in Cottage Grove or South Washington County. Mark Jenkins is here. Yeah, if you want to come up and introduce yourself, absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for all the leaders up at the dais here for being community leaders and my opportunity to serve the city and your citizens and all of South Washington County and Eastern Dakota County and 4 square miles of Maplewood, not that I've measured, is just my way of trying to pay back to the cities and the citizens in my region, my area. So I look forward to working with you. I'll be your advocate at council meetings, and then I'll come back and be the bearer of mainly good news, I hope. And but I'm your advocate at the council, and I look forward to our partnership and working together with city administrator, the council, and your team too, city administrator, because I find out that our staff and your staff work together all the time, and us policy people, we just help make sure it runs smoothly. So, thank you.
Fantastic. And I've had the opportunity to work with Mark on the Transportation Advisory Board before he got promoted to this, I'll call it promotion. Promoted to Met Council member. So glad to have you on the representing us, and I look forward to some great things with you over the years.
I'm looking forward to it, Mayor. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, council, that was it under council comments or requests. 13, we do have a workshop this evening, which is the draft 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan, which will obviously be taking that in the training room. 14, we do not have any workshops that are closed to the public, so we won't be adjourning in here. Council will be eventually adjourning in the training room. So everybody have a great evening if you're watching on TV. Otherwise, if you're in the room, you can come join us over in the training room. Thank you.